you're new, my name is Jenny, and I'm here today to begin the wonderful videos about upcoming reading projects for the new year video. I think that these videos are some of the most fun to create because in the year you're in now, you have all these plans and anticipation about what your reading can be for the following year, and you're still naive enough to believe that you can actually accomplish all those goals, and it's just fun. One of my favorite parts about being part of BookTube and being a reader is making lists of books that I have collected that I want to read. And so today we're going to talk about my next 5-star predictions list. So when I put together my first 5-star predictions list, which was almost a year ago during Vlogmas 2019, I decided to just choose 5 books that I knew I wanted to read coming up and that sounded like they were Jenny books, what I would call a Jenny book. So that sounded like they would tick all the boxes. And I've got the video of the predictions and then the final results down in the description box if you're interested in learning about those books. There wasn't really a unifying theme for those books other than the fact that I believe they were all by female authors, but that's really the only connection you can make between them. There were classics, there were, historical fiction. It was all over the map. It didn't really have a cohesive reasoning behind why I picked what I did. So when I was thinking about my next 5-star predictions list for 2021 and what I wanted to put on it, I started looking at my TBR and trying to see maybe areas that I wasn't completing reading in the most. So I wanted to group books together that fit a theme and accomplish a goal of reading that I was setting out for myself in general for the next year. And so, 2020 has been about a lot of conversations around where your reading tastes are, how you're diversifying your bookshelf, and active, ways of making sure that you are reading a wide representation if that's what you're looking to do with your reading. And I definitely am looking to do that. And if you look at my TBR list, it's very, very diverse. And what tends to happen is I add a lot of books to the list, but they seem to fall by the wayside because there's always a new book and another exciting book to add. So what I decided to do with this grouping of 5-star predictions was to pick a theme, and then, that would help me achieve the goals of reading some of these books that have been on my TBR for a really long time and that speak to that theme. So my theme for 2021 for my 5-star predictions is the African diaspora. And I wanted to select books that some of which are quite popular, that I've had on my TBR for years, and that pretty much I'm sure that I have a really good chance of loving, obviously, if they're 5-star predictions. So, first book that I picked is called Shame on Me, An Anatomy of Race and Belonging by Tessa McWatt. So, Tessa McWatt is a Canadian author, but her parentage, her ancestry is very wide. So I believe she has ancestry from Africa, ancestry from Asia, indigenous ancestry. So she is talking about in this book, this is a memoir, her experience of growing up, her experience of being a mixed race person and how that affected her inward impressions of herself and how the outer society projected things onto her based on her mixed race. So what I tried to do as well with these books was pick authors from different countries specifically So when I'm looking at my reading, especially from African diaspora, I think the largest portion of African diaspora reading I've done has been from authors from the United States. So this list is focusing a little bit more on other countries. Some of these, though, mix both. So, for instance, number 2 is Homegoing by Yaa Gyasi. So I know that this book is a darling. It's a booktube darling, and it's been very popular. And I know that Yaa Gyasi has just released her second, or released a few months ago, her second novel, which I believe a lot of people are also really thinking is good. So I was like, well, if she's already releasing her second one, I got to get on the first one and read that one. So this book is based out of Ghana and the US, and it follows, it's a family saga following 2 sisters that take very different paths. And I'm, from the beginning, hearing the plot of this book, I thought, oh, I'm sure I'm going to love it. I really hope I do. So the third book is A Brief History of 7 Killings by Marlon James. And Marlon James is an author who is from Jamaica. Now, I read his debut novel, The Book of Night Women, this year, and I loved it so much. It was one of my top reads of this year. I listened to it on audio. I just got wrapped up in that story and felt so connected to the characters and the time period in Jamaica. It's set during slavery in Jamaica, and learning about slavery from a Jamaican perspective and how the system worked in Jamaica was all wonderful. I thought he did a great job writing that book. And so A Brief History of 7 Killings is all about the attempted assassination of Bob Marley in Jamaica. So a different time period. I believe this is the late 70s or early 80s. And this is the book that Marlon James won the Booker with, I believe. So, not too much pressure on it at all. I tend to get along well with Booker winners, so I'm hoping that this is going to be a 5-star one for me. So book number 4 on the list is Freshwater by Akwaeke Emezi. And Akwaeke Emezi is originally from Nigeria. Obviously, this book came out to great applaud. It's also a debut novel, and I actually almost started listening to it on audio once, and I heard the voice of the narrator and I loved the tone, but I thought this is not the moment, because I could tell just by the first couple lines that I really needed to be focusing. And audiobooks, because I listen to them primarily when I'm commuting, when I'm driving to work, I don't always get as absorbed by them as I could or that I should. So in this case, I thought, no, I need to be reading this in hard copy so that I can really, pay attention and devote myself to it. And so Freshwater is about a person who is, discovering that they have multiple spirits inside their body. And to be honest with you, I don't know a ton about the plot, because I don't want to. I want to read it and have a full experience without, dissecting the plot too much. So number 5 is Cockroaches by Scholastique Mukasonga, and she is from Rwanda. And this is also a memoir. This book was actually part of Mel's Read Around the World book club. I don't believe Mel has her channel up anymore, but she's still on Bookstagram. And her Read Around the World book club is on Goodreads. And it's a wonderful club, and I've just kind of fallen off the wagon with it in the last year, I think, because I was doing a lot of BookTube Prize reading. And so this book, I can't remember what month it was from, but when it was voted as the book to read, I put it on my TBR and have left it there since then. So I don't know anything about Rwanda, the genocide, about the war, about any of that. I don't know why. I just have never really delved into it I've just never really delved into it. So this book is Scholastique's experience being Tutsi and dealing with all the ramifications of that in Rwandan society from afar, I believe. I believe she was outside the country when this started happening and like how that affected her. So very, very interested in checking this out and learning about Rwanda and, just broadening the horizon on the African and African diaspora reading for 2021. So those are my 5-star predictions. If you have any books that you believe are going to be 5 stars, predictions that you're going to be reading in 2021, let me know in the comments. I'm curious to hear what they are. And if you've read any of these books, I'd love to hear your thoughts on them. Hopefully you liked them. And I will be back again soon. Thanks so much for watching.